Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the February 24th, 2026 meeting of the Town of Newcastle Town Board. The board has been in executive session, and I'd like to ask for a motion to open the work session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to start the work session with an update on the planned Route 117 sidewalk. We have Town Engineer Jeffrey Gaspar, who's going to lead us through that. Rob, would you like to introduce the topic as well?
Yeah, I'll introduce it. The board has heard this over the last several months, probably maybe 6 months or more. We talked about there's
Sharing.
the 117 sidewalk. I kind of would phrase it as a need to have and a nice to have. So the need to have is the area around the mobile station, and the sidewalk there is in disrepair, and we're required to repair that. So that we termed as phase one. We have designed that, or Jeff will go through. We've done the surveying and the designing for that. What we phrased as phase two would be going back from I guess the other side of Julio's Bike Shop down to Salem. And our engineer Jeff Gaspar did kind of a almost an in-house type of feasibility study and a cost estimate on that. But to go any further with that, we'll need a survey, and he's gonna walk through the steps of what we need to do for phase two, and the board can consider. There would be some concerns with doing that, and Jeff will bring those up, so.
I just wanna say we're short 2 copies
Oh.
of everything.
I didn't wanna like kill a I can give you I can give you more copies. I only
Oh,
printed like two
I-
extras out for everybody. I
Would
apologize.
you like everyone to go through as you're presenting?
Yeah. And you can
Okay.
just ask, you can
It's
just ask questions.
it's kind of hard to share. Well, we have 3 copies, I guess I'm in the middle, 1,
That's fine.
2,
Eric and I
3.
don't mind sharing.
Or do we have
Sorry.
two, do we have
That's
2
fine.
copies of each?
2 copies of each.
try
I
to
think we
be,
have 2 copies. So,
I just snapped quick pictures, so I'm okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
actually a good
then,
idea.
okay.
I'll
Paper
do that.
conscious, sorry. I don't like
It's
to
okay.
forget.
It's fine.
We appreciate
That's
that.
I really do. I've seen all that I need to see.
Okay. But you guys have it, I'm not gonna have
Right,
this.
this is not gonna be on screen.
Well, I don't think we can see, we'll be able to see on the screen because it's very
I think I
small.
emailed Lauren, I emailed you a copy of it, I emailed Lauren a copy of it.
Lauren, do you have a copy?
It was probably 2 months ago I emailed it. I can, like I said, I can send
Okay,
it, I can send it again,
Can
give
you
me
find
2
that,
minutes.
Lauren?
I mean, if we need the copies to
It's
follow
easy,
what you're saying.
it's easy to get copies if you want, I'll take a minute.
Okay, you know what, we can start with another discussion. Hopefully that will be not too long, and then we'll continue with this one, cause we do wanna follow, you know, we all wanna follow. So, okay, so we're going to skip to a topic that's actually not on the work session agenda. I'd like to talk about the e-alerts that we've been getting from the National Weather Service. Notifications have been coming in with the last 2 snowstorms at 2 AM in the morning, and this is for people who have opted for phone notifications. Okay, you can get them by phone, by text, or by email. And for some reason, the last 2 occasions have resulted in phone calls to people at 2 in the morning when it was not an emergency in that moment, and those phone calls could have been placed at any other reasonable time in the day. So we don't, even though the return number is a 238 town number, it's not the town making the phone calls. The system requires a callback number, as Rob explained to me, so that's why our town number appears. But the notification is sent by the National Weather Service, and we have no control over it. So Rob, do you want to explain a little
Sure.
bit, and we could talk about what the options are going forward?
Sure. So the town is signed up for a service called e-alerts. We changed over from Code Red about 3 or 4 years ago. So some people have asked, why now and what's changed? Well, about 3 or 4 years ago, Code Red was a very rudimentary system. They did not subscribe to the National Weather Service. It was just as I said, a rudimentary alert system and we had some difficulties with mapping, et cetera. So we upgraded to e-alerts about 3 or 4 years ago. As part of the e-alert system, they are subscribed to National Weather Service updates. So and this is strictly a pass-through from the National Weather Service. Whenever they issue a watch or a warning, at whatever time they issue that, they will send the alert out via our system. As the supervisor mentioned, our e-alert system operates as an opt-in. So at some point, everybody that's receiving a notification, whether by text, email, or phone call, they have opted into this service. So and I shared this with the town board, you should all have in front of you, what the screen looks like when you can opt in. So where it talks about at the top of the page, you can elect what alerts I'd like to receive. So you can elect to receive weather warnings, and those are distributed via text message, email, and voice call, depending on your preferences, and weather watches, which are only sent via text message and email. Okay, so the regular notifications that you would get from the town, those are kind of in 5 different categories, and again, these were all something that you opted in to receive. So you could receive emergency alerts from the town, which would be local emergency type alerts. I think I issued the snow alert this weekend under the emergency alerts. Advisories, which would include issues that may halt or delay traffic, advisories affecting public safety, weather issues, local events, et cetera. And then there's community messages, and that would be something like holiday closures for the building, tax reminders, parking reminders, that type of thing. There's 2 other categories, recreation and parks updates and refuse pickup updates. So those are the 5 kind of community alerts you can receive. You also then can elect to receive weather alerts. And these are all checkboxes, you decide which ones you want. So you can receive alerts based on air stagnation or smog, blizzard, coastal warnings, dust storms, fires, flood or flash flood, fog, frost, high wind, hurricane, thunderstorm, tornado, tropical storm, and winter storm. So you can check and receive all of those, none of those, 1 or 2 of those. That's your option. Underneath that, you'll see you get the option as to whether you want to receive weather voice calls. So you can elect to receive those to your home phone or to your cell phone. Again, you opted into this at some point. So that said, these are all your elections at this point. These all can be changed on the town's website under a tab called Get Connected. You'll see e-alerts, and you can go in there and you can either subscribe or you can modify or change your preferences, are the 2 options. If you don't want to receive these alerts, I would recommend that you go to this website and check your settings. And you know, I heard some conversation and somebody said, well, you know, I don't want to receive phone calls for extreme cold. I think that was one of them we got the other weekend. I would tend to agree. 2 a.m. on I think it was like a Thursday morning when the extreme freeze warning was set for Saturday. Right, not a warning. I would agree with you. But we don't have, that's not an option that the town sets. When the National Weather Service issues this, within minutes, it's distributed, it comes through our feed and it goes out. So we don't have a time of day screening. It goes when they send it, unfortunately. So you have that option to continue receiving voice calls or discontinue receiving them, or receive them only for certain types of storms. Those are your options. So you know, I understand it's caused frustration. I understand it comes out under the town's banner, because it does. It's through the town's e-alert system, which has our logo on it, and it says comes from the town of Newcastle. Most of those other alerts I initiate. Those, I'm actually the person that sends them out. The weather ones, I don't send them out. I have no control over when they get sent out. They're sent out through the National Weather Service, so.
So I have a couple of questions. So first of all, I guess maybe the path of least resistance would be whether it's possible to contact the National Weather Service. We can't be the only ones with this problem.
I know for a fact we're not the only ones with this.
Okay, so is it
So there are
possible to
other
contact them
municipalities?
and simply to inquire as to what they can change? I mean, it's an untenable situation. Is there a person to talk to there that we can reason with?
I doubt it that we could reason with. I am certain they have a protocol as to when they issue an alert. It might be when a temperature gets to be a certain level or what, I don't know those
In
protocols.
terms of when the alerts go out? Okay,
But
so-
they're not focused on the alert that gets distributed to us. They're focused on whatever their protocol for warning the entire nation or a region that something is imminent.
Well, at
That's
the
what they're-
point in the chain where the communication gets sent to our residents, that comes from the Weather Service, so
Yep.
they must have a department there or people who actually program their systems to send these alerts. So
Well,
that would be.
it sends not to our system, it's a feed, so when they issue a warning, I get them through the, what is it, the Weather Channel app, the Weather Channel app is the one I receive. I get the alerts that come through that, and I get them via text, I don't get them via phone, but I get them all through the night.
So another question is, seeing that this wasn't happening before, this is the first time that I think any of us have heard of this. There was this, on the occasion of this snow and then the prior snow. These were the first times this has happened. So we've spent the last 4 years, 3 or 4 years, without this being a problem with the phone notifications. Obviously, something has changed. So I would like us to make an effort, and we may not be able to, but I'd like us to make an effort to contact them to understand what has changed, whether they realize the consequences to people receiving the notifications and what they can do about it. There may not be an answer, there may be, but I think we should try.
I know from our contacts at eAlerts, they've had this complaint from other folks that subscribe to their service. I know our Commissioner of Public Works, Mark Carey, he subscribes through whatever, it's not eAlerts, but whatever subscription the town that he lives in, and he, the same day that we got the 2 AM call, he received the 2 AM.
So is the solution to get e-alerts, since they're providing us with the service, get e-alerts to contact the National Weather Service?
We can attempt
Is
that,
that- Right.
I can't say we'll have any success.
We
It's-
may not, but I think that's just a step that we should try to do. I'm not saying that you spend your days trying to do that, just make a couple of phone calls, see what they can do about it. Secondly, I just wonder, what systems other than e-alert do other towns have? Or is this a widely
Well,
used?
there's other companies that do this, we had Code Red in the past. But again, we could go with somebody that doesn't subscribe to National Weather Service feed. We have inquired as to whether we can discontinue that. We don't know the answer to that right now. When we asked, they said no one's ever asked us that, so we have to check.
I mean, I think National Weather Service is pretty important. It would just seem a shame to unsubscribe or switch because of that, and that's why I'd like to at least try, the first option, which is to contact them, either e-alerts contact them or we
We can try.
contact them. I mean, if they know that our only option is to unsubscribe, surely
Well, I don't even know that we have that option, so I know we can't change any user settings. Once somebody elects to receive that, we might think it's crazy that somebody wants a 2 AM call, but maybe somebody does want the 2 AM call. And maybe there may be some, by us discontinuing that without their knowledge, or us changing their preferences without their knowledge, they don't receive a warning that they wanted to receive, and that may result in a problem for them, so.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to know what systems other towns have, not Code Red, because we already deemed that to be too rudimentary and ineffective.
Right, I'm not, I mean,
but-
the e-alert, so part of it, it's part of Civic Plus, which is our website. We have some other products that we use with them, they're part of our recreation I mean, there's other companies again, but if we want National Weather Service feeds,
this
it's
has a
all
lot of
gonna come the same. It's-
tentacles into the town.
What's
and
that?
We use them for many things other
We
than
do, mhm.
notifications.
And I would be hesitant to make a switch if we don't really need to, because
that's why.
so many people would have to, then they'd also have to
Research.
opt back
Obviously,
in.
it would be a
So it's
mini,
easier
it would be a
to-
mini nightmare, but
But
that's why I wanna try this other option of at least contacting
We can try.
Civic Plus and getting them to try contacting National Weather Service or us doing it directly.
Maybe just find out if there's some sort of a formal grievance process. I mean, truly, because
Yeah.
the 2 o'clock, I mean, I need to unsubscribe for the phone alerts. I guess I'm a dinosaur, but you know, there are complaints online, and a lot of the complainers, it's me and like most of the elders in the community. So I think for some of them, getting it in other ways might not be their preferred,
Yeah.
option. I mean, getting text alerts or getting email alerts, I don't know, it might have a negative impact on the mature side of our community. And yet, I think the thing that was like most annoying about it is to get a 2 a.m. alert about a blizzard that's going to happen in 48 hours.
We know,
Is like
it's
it felt
absurd.
like 5 a.m. would have been fine. It felt unnecessary. Like it felt like, okay, a 2 a.m. I would welcome if something was going to happen at in a few hours or within 24 hours, but 48 hours away just felt like it's gotta be an error of
There's a
some
question,
sort.
there's a question of reasonableness here and discernment, and we don't know if they switch to some sort of automatic program that is just easier for them.
What do you think, Eric? You're shaking your head.
No, I think it's one of two things. It's either that, exactly as Vicky's alluding to, is that they changed something and intentionally, and they said, we want to make sure in case it was this minute of tornadoes happening in your area and we need to change this level, this category of emergency, these are gonna get automated, they hit an API, whatever it is, and made sure that something did change, because you're exactly right, we've been using this system for 3-4 years, people haven't been getting these 2 a.m. calls. So it is either, was this a feature or was this a bug? Was this a mistake and these shouldn't have been, or did they intentionally make these change? Quite frankly, if in an ideal world, Rob will be able to shoot them an email and their customer support will get back to us same day and say it's one or the other. That this is how it's supposed to function. If it's supposed to function, I know people can't see the screenshot you provided us, Rob, but it's a very simple, you can, at the very bottom, just opt out of the phone calls. Now, you're gonna be losing, as Rob said, you'll lose some features based off of that, but that's a decision each person has to make within their preferences. Again, assuming that it's a feature. Since it happened again, I assume it is a feature. That it was intentional, that they said, we wanna make sure these alerts. Now, I'm with you, Jen. I don't think they need to know at 2 a.m. that a storm's coming in 3
We
days.
all agree with that.
But the question is for Civic Plus, was this a feature, was this a bug?
Well, again, Civic Plus, it's strictly a pass-through, so it's what's coming from the National Weather Service. So I don't know if they changed the protocol in some way, but it isn't Civic Plus. They're strictly passing through, when they get it comes through their system
So
and
with
back
Civic
out.
Plus, do you have a contact that you speak to?
We do,
Or
yeah.
that's, okay.
Mhm.
Let's reach out to them.
We have been. They
Oh.
tell us they have these complaints, they haven't, they recommended that we tell everyone to change their options.
So I guess they're not volunteering anything else. I guess then the next step is to actually ask them, can you contact the National Weather Service?
We'll
Can we
ask.
escalate it?
Carrie's
Because
been speaking with them.
They're sort of
for-
our agent in a way with
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
And so let's ask them to actually take a proactive step, and so it's reactive really, but to take a step to at least find out what's going on.
We can ask.
And the worst thing that can happen is they tell us they can't change it, or we can't reach them, or there's no way to contact them, but let's find out.
We'll
I
ask.
think that might be the easiest way.
And in the meantime, I'm happy to walk anyone through the process of unsubscribing.
Thank you,
To
Holly, are you
those.
sure you're?
Yeah.
I really am.
Be in touch with
Okay,
Holly.
thank you,
Yeah, so
Holly.
you get that call at 2 in the
Holly.
morning, call Holly at 2 in the morning to turn off your settings.
Don't
Is that
worry,
what
I'm
you're saying?
on do not disturb except for the emergency bypass
They will call.
for my
They've been
kids.
calling our
They will
office.
call.
I am
Not
too.
that easy, the ones
How-
that call.
So
And you have to walk them through it.
You've been getting
Oh, you-
complaints?
It's not that easy.
It's
So
her,
you've
it's her
been-
phone number.
Christina, you've been getting complaints about this?
Well, people call because it's has our phone number.
Right.
So they'll see the missed call or anything like that. Then we explain to them what's going on. Oftentimes,
Very
when it's someone that you have to walk through, they're not that computer savvy, so it takes some time. And we do that with them. So we explain, why they're getting it. But we're happy to do it, but it's our number, so
Right,
yeah.
right. So this problem is creating extra work for you too.
Okay.
nobody's
Whenever
happy.
we sent the e-alerts out, we
Tell
get
them to be in touch with Holly.
Yes,
our dear.
Don't worry, I've got my do not disturb down to a science.
Yes,
Okay.
same.
Well, it's obviously
All right.
disturbing the community, so.
Okay,
Okay,
Jeff,
guys.
it's your turn. Very frustrating,
Thank
I
you.
understand.
He's
Jeff,
been waiting a
we
long
have-
time.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Please
All
do.
set, so,
I have another
Thank
copy
you,
if need
Jeffrey.
it.
Thank you, Jeff.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so,
So first, if you want, I can
This is
give you a
exciting.
status update on phase one, which has already been approved by the board. It's as Rob mentioned, it's the area directly in front of the mobile station at the corner of 117 and King. The design is about 90% done right now.
we're looking at this one.
No, that, I'll talk about that after.
Okay.
So the design is 90% done. We're doing an internal review of the drawings that JMC did for us. We'll have that back to them probably next week. And then at that point, we'll finalize everything and it will be submitted to the New York State DOT for approval. We'll have to respond to probably comments from them. Ideally, this is probably something that will bid out in the spring or so, maybe early summer, and then it'll get done in most likely the fall. And again, as Rob mentioned, this is something that we were required to do by the DOT because the sidewalk is not safe right now. There's raised areas and cracks, and the cross slope is bad. Cross slope is the kind of the slope of across the sidewalk. So if you're in a wheelchair, so rolling on your side, or somebody's in a walker or something, it needed to be done. So we're taking care of it. That's the first part. Phase two, which is what you have in front of you, would extend from the mobile station in front of the bike shop down to Salem. We did do back in 2008, we did a larger 2007 or 2008, we did a larger study, look of running a sidewalk all the way down, I think it's Apple Farm Road. And the board at the time opted against it. I think it was like $5 or $6 million or something like that to run that, so they opted not to do that. And what I did, what
I
you
think
have in
at the
front of you-
time, the consideration too, as part of the expense, but also the consideration was all the property that they would have
Correct.
to take. Wherever the sidewalk was, there's no existing right of way there, or not a large enough right of way to put a sidewalk in. So we'd have to intrude on every single property along there, and it would, there were concerns with that.
So the road 117 is narrow there, the right of way is very narrow. I'll kind of give you an idea of the impacts. So if you look at the second page, all of the structure all the way on the right, that's actually the mobile station there. And you can kind of see the mobile station is L-shaped, and there's the gas island that's there.
I'm sorry, hang on a second, which second page?
No, I'm sorry, on the plans, the
Plans.
plans, yes, sorry.
Thank you, okay.
I think next to you there's extra pencils. So Holly's hoarding from me. Thank you.
I
Just trying to keep it there.
have two of the same, actually.
Oh, no,
No, that's okay, I'll look
share
over
with
with her.
it didn't come through collated, sorry.
Don't worry.
So there's one that has green on it. We're looking at that one. There's a section with green on it.
So this one has only 2 pages?
That
Yeah, just 2
Is
pages.
that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at that sheet with the green, all the way on the right is the gas station, the
Yeah.
mobile station, and that's that area we're doing. The next building down with no green in front of it is the bike shop. And then, so that's all got sidewalk in front of it or will have sidewalk in front of it. You know, this phase 2 would really pick up from just south of the bike shop and then run down past Ridgewood Terrace and then down to Salem. So this first section down to Ridgewood Terrace, the first 3 properties, which the one of them was, I don't know if you recall, it was the one the property that burned down. That's the first one. And then the next 2, which are residential houses, they really don't have much impact. And I shouldn't say that. Let me just suppose, this is all saying that generally sidewalks require 10 feet of width. There's usually a curb and there's a 5-foot, it's called a snow shelf, which it allows the plows to push snow onto an area that does not need to be cleared, and then you have a 5-foot sidewalk. So generally, you're required a 5-foot width. New York State DOT requires this, a 5-foot width for a snow shelf and then a 5-foot width for sidewalk. This is all of this is assuming that we can receive an exemption for the 5-foot snow shelf. So what would happen here is we're gonna have the sidewalk directly on the street, which is not ideal for, you know, it's not as comfortable either when you're walking or driving. You've got people literally right on top of you when you're driving, and you know, cars when you're walking. That being said, that would be, all this depends, at first depends on the DOT providing this, which there's no guarantee that they will. They have in the past, they have.
Would we be asking for an exemption in order to not do takings of private property?
We have takings no matter what. Even without the snow shelf, with just a 5-foot wide sidewalk, we still have to take, there's a half a dozen properties that we have to make takings from. So again, this entire plan assumes that we're gonna get approved by the DOT to not have a 5-foot snow shelf.
And that the residents approve of the taking?
Well, you know,
There's, if you're going, you don't need their approval for the taking,
Right.
if it's a public purpose, which this could be.
Right.
You know, you're looking at us going in for the taking, it's really gonna be a question of valuation, and that's really what's gonna be the big question. The actual taking itself, you know, it's gonna be it's gonna, obviously, it's an eminent domain proceeding that's gonna get filed in Westchester County, and then it's gonna be an issue of what the valuation is for that portion that you're taking for each property.
I drive this section and I've tried to walk it. It's terrifying.
I had to walk it to take pictures. It's really, I would not recommend anybody walking it. I wouldn't recommend anybody walking it. You have to always, you're constantly having to watch your back to make sure nobody's on their cell phone, you know, veering off the road.
But there are people who are walking it daily, cause
Yeah.
I see them.
Just to finish that thought, I mean, if every property owner is willing to give up that piece, then we just have to figure out what that value is, and we can do that by way of acquisition without eminent domain.
I mean,
They would
the
all have to agree.
right, the reason we're looking at this is precisely because people are walking this road, this route, and it's highly dangerous.
So this
you know,
estimate-
that's why we're entertaining
Is
this
misleading.
idea of the taking of private property, and which I think is an extreme measure, but it involves public safety, so.
So just to give you guys, you know, I kind of created this to give you guys sort of an idea of the impacts of the proposed, again, 5-foot wide sidewalk with no snow shelf. Keep in mind that if we were to go through with this process and the DOT did not approve the exemption of the snow shelf, we're gonna take additional 5 or 6 feet from you know, people along the route.
You know, I'm sorry, as I was reading this map, I may have missed, did you talk about the red part?
So the green means that for a 5-foot wide sidewalk, we do not need to make any takings. Areas where it's red, we would need to have some sort of a taking where the town would have to take, similar to what we did in Millwood, for the sidewalk in Millwood.
So how many properties are there?
It would affect 1, 2, 3, 4 properties, although, you know, one is severely impacted, The one just, if you look on the first sheet, it's this, at the bottom right, it says C406. It's where the, just the red is only on the right. That house is, it's relatively close to the street already. And, you know, they have some hedges, I believe, that would have to get removed and relocated. But, you know, you can kinda, if you look at there's a photo page that we sort of overlay where the sidewalk would be along the route. And I did a little summary of, you know, we'd have to remove or replace, there's one stone wall, there's about 80 foot of stockade fence, there's a lot of vegetation, including a very mature row of hemlocks that would have to get removed and replaced. It impacts, you know, signs, there's a half a dozen telephone poles, there's hydrants, which are all technical details that can be done. But remember, all these things need to be, these are all gonna be pushed back also, you know, outside onto
And this
people's
is
properties.
contingent really upon DOT saying yes.
The DOT approving a 5 foot.
So first
line.
DOT would need to approve.
Yeah, we won't even know until until the design is done and we say, this is what we wanna do, we won't even know.
And then from there, we have to worry about the private property
Mhm.
piece.
So when I look at the photos of the private properties, it looks like the sidewalk would be sort of on the other side of their fencing in a lot of cases. So
It
it's not
would-
like we're going into
It would
the
take the
yards
fencing.
that they're using. I don't wanna be presumptuous, it is their property, but it doesn't look like it's in a part of their property that they're actually using.
So that particular house, it would affect, the fence does need to get moved on that, it would need to get moved a foot or two.
A foot,
So they would
okay.
probably see a foot or two loss, you know, loss of their property,
I'm
again,
not minimizing the loss
No.
of people's property,
and
but
on the
I'm
northern
just
side,
observing that.
on the northern side, it's more apparent loss, like people think their property goes out to the road, it really doesn't. You know, we're gonna put a sidewalk on the right of way where they thought their property was, or they, you know, where their driveway is, again, you know.
And that's only if there's no snow shelf. If there's snow shelf, there would be takings on every property?
Yeah, if there was no snow shelf, they'd be taking us on every single property.
Do we have an idea, I mean, cause I know they just had to move a whole bunch of snow off of that road. Like, do we even already have enough room to get the snow off the road safely?
Well, that's another kind of problem you bring up, you know, how generally in the town, the property in front, you know, if there's sidewalk in front of your property, you're responsible for cleaning it. Now, we're gonna have, I believe we plow that section of 117, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, the DPW is gonna be pushing snow, you know, it's gonna be 4 or 5 feet high on top of the sidewalk, and then our DPW's gotta come back and they've gotta move all that, you know, ostensibly onto the you know, the neighbor's property, unless, you know, we keep the same and, you know, you require, there's areas that we take care of in the hamlets that we shovel, so we could take that or, you know, again, leave it on the responsibility of the homeowner to clear that snow. But it's just another, you know, it's another consideration, you know, of the after effects.
Cause we wouldn't have that
yeah, so
snow
there's-
shelf between the road and the.
Yeah, so there's, you know, it would be a significant ongoing maintenance thing. Every time it snowed, it's probably, you know, it could be $5,000 or $10,000 to clear that sidewalk every time it snows. With, you know, guys coming in, the man hours that it takes. Again, that number's a very quick round number that I just, assuming how many guys it took to clear so much snow over, you know.
I mean, how realistic is that? Let's say there were a sidewalk there now,
Mhm.
the snow plows come and then the snow ends up on the sidewalk.
Yep.
So that no one can actually use the sidewalk. With the last snow we got, I mean, we got 2 feet, I mean, it was huge. And so how realistic would it be to expect our guys to come and, hand shovel?
I mean, we have machinery, I don't know what kind of
machinery.
machinery
Yeah,
that
they
Bart
do,
has.
they've got bobcats
Yeah.
and smaller front loaders and stuff that they use on the
I
sidewalks
mean, is it
to
as
do that.
daunting as it sounds?
It is. I will
Okay.
tell you right now that they did the Hamlet area the best they could right now. stretching out like down Quaker, they've not been able to get to that, and Bart said it'll be several days before they're able to get to that. In some of the other areas where there's sidewalks, they haven't been able to get to it quite yet.
Right, so they can't even get to it, so,
Yeah.
wow, I think, thinking about expectations, I think that people would have to know this, right? Because I could see, like, we put all this money and we invest in building a sidewalk, and then in the winter, there'll be days where people can't use it, when DPW can't get to it. I can see getting a lot of calls, we wanted the sidewalk and now look, we can't use it, you're not maintaining it, but I'm hearing that this is what happens in the hamlet, because we just don't have the manpower
Yeah, it's just,
to do this is adding more, so I just, you hit a wall at a certain point with what's possible, and I'm just saying that we need to manage expectations if we actually do this.
I mean, even in the worst case, if we're not able to clear it, it would not be any less safe than it is, say, today. So
And I think we have to remember that as unfortunate as it is, people don't have to walk on there. There are a lot of areas in town that are unwalkable. This was one of them, and so we don't want people to be unsafe. We're concerned, we're going to do everything we can to put a sidewalk there because of that. But at the end of the day, if there's a situation that is unsafe, there is, people do take personal responsibility and say, this is unsafe, I'm gonna get in my car now.
Yeah.
We do that in a lot of areas of town, so I just wanna establish that we're not putting people at risk, because we don't have sidewalks in most of this town. So I hope that people take precautions, don't put themselves and their kids at risk.
I mean, it's kind of where we drew the distinction with the phase 1 and 2, where it was a need to have, because it's an existing sidewalk that's there, that's in disrepair, that we need to correct, versus a sidewalk that's not there. It would be helpful and useful if it was there, but it currently isn't there.
So just to be clear, we're going to do everything we can to try to put a sidewalk here.
So I think, and I don't, not to jump into your presentation, I'm not sure where you were going, but the next step really is the survey and the design, because we won't get a verbal from New York State DOT. Without seeing the plan, they won't say, yes, we will, or no, we won't. We've asked them before and they won't do that. So we need to design, and you had a cost estimate for that.
Yeah, we have when we did phase 1 of this, in front of the mobile station, I asked that JMC also give us a cost estimate for to design and handle the permitting for from the bike shop down to Salem. And I just wanna put out there, if you look at the cost estimate, anytime you put sidewalks in something like this, we're required to put in stormwater management. So basically, the water right now can just run off onto the yards and infiltrate into the ground. When you put sidewalks up, you put a block up, now we have to put catch basins in, we have to put drain pipes underneath. So now we're opening up the road, we're gonna end up closing a lane of 117 down, or half a lane of 117 down for a few months. And that water would probably go into I think it's called the Salem Brook. Would come south on 117, make a left on Salem, and go underground to the brook out there. So in addition to the sidewalk, we're required to put in stormwater piping. That's probably, the infrastructure is probably about half of the cost. It's a little over $500,000. This is from my estimate back in the summer. When we actually get to this, and this is probably like a 2-year type thing, a year and a half, before I actually hit construction. Cost could probably be 20% higher, so you might be looking closer to like 1.5 million for the total project.
is there like a general rule of thumb for the cost of a sidewalk per linear foot?
I can get that. I can get you like a typical, if we're just putting in a straight sidewalk, it's already done, what it costs per linear foot. I can definitely get
And
that
does the
for you.
1.5 million include the takings?
No. Takings are typically not a significant cost of the actual property. More the cost is in legal.
So,
With
It's true.
Yeah, no,
It's significant, the back and forth and,
yeah.
well, you
It's
know, I
time
know you
consuming.
you haven't seen the property, and Jeff, I don't know if you know the answer, but I think we've discussed internally. If we have to do some of these takings, would that make any of these properties zoning non-compliant?
I do not believe it would make any of them non-compliant. I believe
okay.
they're all compliant now, and I believe they all would be.
So
There's
I-
one that's close, and if we had to take 10 feet, that may
Yeah,
may
I
make it
I
not
think there
zoning
was an
zoning
issue,
compliant.
and when you talk having back in 2007 or 8, whenever,
Yeah.
and that kind of predates me, but when they were talking about extending it further, I think that was the issue, that it was a cost and it was gonna make some of those properties zoning non-compliant.
I think
Well, that's on us, I mean, I would think it's obvious we give them a variance, right? We can't,
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily give them the variance, because again, you're taking away some of their property, right? So now they can, if we're proposing to acquire that property, again, the first step would be to do it, have them do it voluntarily, so they would basically sell it to us, and technically, as a municipality, we're exempt from our own zoning, so we could do what we need to do there, and obviously compensate for whatever we need to do with the property in order to make them whole. But that's the first step, is what, we try to do this voluntarily and try to get, again, even if you make the property non-conforming, there are ways around that, which I won't get into now, but my point is, it's like you would try voluntarily to do it first. If you can't, then you have to go the eminent domain route, and that's when it gets expensive in terms of you're paying legal, you're paying, to go into court on a petition, and then the biggest cost in battle is an evaluation. So that takes, the actual acquisition is fairly quick, but it's the valuation that takes time. So if you don't have an agreement, you may have, how many parcels are we talking about?
I think it's four or five parcels.
Alright, so if 4 agree and the one doesn't,
Where
Yeah.
does that leave us?
yeah, well, I think as a practical purpose, the public purpose you have, because again, you're looking to do a sidewalk, so I'm not worried about that at all. It's just the timing associating with it, and again, DOT's gotta be okay with it, cause you're acquiring a right of way within their road, but you're acquiring private property to be part of that right of way, so DOT's gotta okay that first.
so then it's a question of negotiating the valuation,
Correct.
which
We
is
have to
going
get
to
our
be time
we have to
consuming and
we have to spend money on appraisals and appraise that piece of, that strip. We're not talking crazy numbers, but you have to do that for each of the 5 properties.
What is the fact that the existing sidewalk there is already non-compliant with DOT regulations? Would that make a continuance of the sidewalk under those conditions more likely?
I can't answer that. We do know that they have approved exemptions of exemption requests for a sidewalk shelf. I'm sorry, for a snow shelf in like Pleasantville, right on 117. So we know they have done it before.
And do you know if this was a result of an exemption or was that grandfathered
I
in?
doubt when this was built, there probably was not that requirement to have a snow shelf.
And the
Right,
fact
that's a
that,
newer requirement.
right, the fact that you have an existing sidewalk there cause for example, I'm doing a project now where we have to put in sidewalks in the DOT right of way. DOT has their own, as you know, their specifications, if I'm putting a sidewalk in their right of way, there are certain specs they want me to comply with and that I have to comply with DOT. So, or if I'm putting it on my property, they will eventually take it as an offer of dedication for their right of way, but there's a whole process involved and they have their own specs. Here it's a little different because you do have an existing sidewalk that was done, God knows how long ago, before those standards were put into place. So to Jeff's point, you probably will get an exemption from that, but you have to go and speak to DOT before you do any of this to make sure they're on board.
Okay, so it's more likely to
Yep.
get an exemption. That's promising.
And
Alright.
how long and how much does it take to get through the design?
I mean, the design is not really the time. The time is really going through the takings process. I think for Millwood, it took like 2.5 years or something like
Sorry,
that.
let me rephrase the question. More to get to the point where we can actually ask DOT. for the
Yeah, so
exemptions.
that time is from the survey and the design, it's probably less than 6 months from when we authorize the project.
And like what kind of dollars are we talking about to get that far?
So the proposal for the design and I believe it included the design, the survey, and I believe the DOT permit application. I think it was around $130,000, $150,000. I have that. I can send you the proposal if you like.
Approximate is good for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, and that would really get us to a point where we could apply for the DOT permit, and they will, at that point, you know, they'd make a decision whether they would allow us to not have the snow shelf.
Okay.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? Any further questions?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, if,
Thank you,
know,
Jeff, yeah, and thank you for these
Thank
charts and photos, it's
Yeah, I mean,
it's very
you
helpful,
can, if you drive
yeah,
it,
we can at least
just,
see what's going on.
I'm gonna go walk.
yeah, if you
Do not in
If
the
you
dark
drive-
with the snow, right?
if you drive it slow, you can kind of get an idea of the impacts, and to me, it's pretty significant, cause there's a lot of stuff on that edge of the road,
Yeah.
people's, you know.
I've
there's a lot of people-
actually gone to walk there,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
I think Holly and I see
Usually
it
not tomorrow.
daily.
Yeah, I mean, like if this is it, I live like right here.
Oh, okay.
We
So,
both sort of
I look
pass
out
it
my front
on the
window, I
regular.
can see this. And
It's, you know, it's certainly, if that's the way the board wants to go, you know, we'll do what we need to do to make it happen.
It's surely a
Well,
quality of
do you
life
need,
thing.
I guess we need to give you an approval or an unofficial, informal go-ahead? You know, we're not taking a vote, but we need to indicate, I mean,
Yeah,
we did when we talked
would
about
need
our
to-
goals,
Yeah, I mean, we
did
weren't
put
looking
this-
for that tonight, but we
Yeah.
will need to, right, give a
It's
go
really-
ahead.
I think it's really just a function of approving the phase 2 proposal that we have from JMC.
Right, we have the proposal, is there
I may have
an
to go out-
expiration?
I mean, I think we've talked about it enough, we've put it in our 2026 goals, right?
Yep.
And so I think we have enough, you have enough for us to say, please go ahead, start with the design process, start with the first step you need to take to put this into motion.
I do have to talk to Lino. They were the only firm that I solicited for a proposal, cause that was part of the old one, so I just have to make sure that we're okay with the
And-
procurement procedures, so
We've
to
gotta
make sure.
talk about funding for this, cause
Yeah, so we can chat when I'm here this week.
Yeah, I may need to get additional proposals just to make sure that we're, you know, on board with the procurement.
Okay, so
Yeah.
is everyone in agreement, we have a general consensus that Bob, Jeff and Lino can take the first steps, whatever you decide that would be.
Listen, if we can go ahead with the design, you can do the design, and there's no requirement to do construction if the cost or if any of the costs are too high, or, you know, the takings are too much, you can make that decision.
Okay, so
You
go
know,
ahead
down the
and
road.
No, but
do
that-
the design, so we don't have to wait until the phase 1 is over. We can start
Yep.
with the phase 2 so that we don't, obviously it's gonna take a lot of time already. So let's start with the steps we need for phase 2.
So the funding will probably come from fund balance then, because it's not been allocated in the operating budget.
The 130 some odd dollars.
Yep. So
Mhm.
the board should just be aware of that. So if this becomes a capital project and we go forward with it, capital project then can be borrowed for and amortized. If the project doesn't go forward, we can't capitalize the costs of the design. So it would have to be paid for out of the operating budget, which could be fund balance. So just so the board's aware, we have ample fund balance, but that would be an allocation of fund balance.
Could we replenish the fund balance
Um
from that
yeah,
capitalization?
ultimately, if we decided to go forward with it, depending on the timing, we could roll it into a capital project, so.
So then the funds could be automatically returned to the fund balance? Is that how it would work, or is it just I mean, money is fungible, we could reallocate
yes.
that during budget
Yeah,
season?
accounting wise, if we go forward with it and it gets rolled into a capital project, yes, then we'd probably end up borrowing for it, is what we would do.
Okay.
Thank you,
Any
Jeff.
other questions?
No.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Thanks, that was
Any
really,
questions, feel
really
free to-
helpful.
Give me a call or email me.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
There's just so many houses that can be connected, I think. Let me know if you can do it. Reasonably.
We are doing it, yes.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Jeff,
Good
thank you.
night.
And also, and thank you, Rob, too, and Lino for working on this. Okay, I guess we're ready for administrative items.
We have retroactive payment of claims from February sixth. We have the adoption of the monthly reports from January 26th. Adoption of minutes from January 26th. Authorization to purchase anthracite and sand filter media. It's for the Millwood Water Treatment Plant. From the Unifilt Corporation, $29,800.07. With the authorization to purchase a VersaLift VST 40-1 insulated 40-foot telescopic aerial platform lift truck. This is a bucket truck that we use to work on streetlights and overhead stuff. That's from Time Manufacturing. The cost is $252,086. We're purchasing that through a cooperative agreement, the Sourcewell agreement. We've used that to purchase quite a few different heavy equipment pieces.
And we expected that, right? This was planned for?
This was, so our existing bucket truck is aging. We have a significant fund balance in the lighting district. That came about, a lot of that came about because when we switched to LED streetlights, we got a significant rebate from Con Ed. We actually, they should have lowered our bills. We discovered an error where they were a couple years in arrears, that they hadn't lowered our bill. We got a significant credit, so we've got fund balance and we'll be paying for that. And when you talk about fund balance and talk about the different funds, you can't cross funds. So I've got money in this lighting district, I can't do anything but spend it on lights and lighting, et cetera. So this is no, it can't be sidewalk
Right.
money. So it's a perfect expenditure for this.
That was a great catch, though, that you
yeah.
caught that error.
Yeah, I mean, what would be the benefit of replacing the LED lights? We were supposed to, Con Ed was supposed to, there was supposed to be a lower rate for using LED lighting.
Right.
And they didn't, they continued charging us the old rate, so.
I'm glad you caught it.
It was about
That's
$150,000 credit, I think they ended
Wow.
up giving
Makes you
us.
wonder about their monitoring systems.
Good
We could
job.
spend all night on
Very
that.
Yeah. We're all in agreement, though.
So we have the authorization to use town property. They'd like to close down Center Street on Friday, May 22nd, for several hours for the senior barbecue.
Your son will be there.
Oh, that senior barbecue.
I miss those events.
They have the authorization to retain professional services for the water main leak
Oh,
detection.
I'm sorry, that was senior citizen, not,
Senior
this is
citizen.
not really.
That's what I figured.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's
okay,
so
I
many-
didn't-
there's so
Why
many-
would her son
I
be
didn't
there?
catch what you were
I'm
saying,
still-
I'm
I'm
like, why
still
would
in,
her son be there?
I was like,
I'm still in my school
Not
school
senior at Horace,
mindset.
really.
Yeah.
Seniors, that has to
senior.
mean
No.
really seniors.
Yeah.
I was like, I think it was a different group of seniors, but okay.
Authorization to
Makes
retain
more sense.
professional services, water main leak detection, that's GPRS LLC at a cost of $29,265. We use this service annually. They help us to detect leaks in our water distribution system. What they do is over a period of several weeks, they come into town and they come in overnight when the water flow is at its lowest in town, and they actually use listening devices in the water mains to determine where there's leaks. So we've prevented a lot of leaks or discovered a lot of leaks by using this service, and we've done it for many years. We have an authorization for the extension of purchase and installation of highway maintenance materials, DPW, for specific items. The first one is for Shamong Supply Corporation. These are for items related to guide rail installation. We have another one for specific items for Seal Coat USA Inc., and that is for pavement markings and paintings on the pavement. We have an authorization to obtain bids for the purchase and installation of highway maintenance materials for non-extended contract items. This relates to paving, milling, catch basins and drain pipes when we're putting in road work. We have the authorization to renew the blanket accident insurance policy with Zurich. That's travel and accidental death and dismemberment policy. $1,000 is the amount of that. We have the authorization to approve the extension of the CSEA vision and dental agreement through 2026 and 2027. This agreement is negotiated through the collective bargaining agreement with the CSEA. The increase for the year of 2026 is 2.2%, and for 27 it's 4.8% for dental coverage. There is no increase in the cost for the vision coverage. The last work session item is the authorization to utilize the New York State OGS mini bid for the purchase of a 2026 Chevy Blazer EV, all-wheel drive for DPW. That's gonna be a replacement, unfortunately, of the vehicle. Bart was involved in a pretty serious accident that wrecked his car. So we're going to replace his vehicle with this EV vehicle. We've got some funds left over from some of those NYSERDA projects that we had over the last couple of years. Some of them came in lower than anticipated, so we've got a few funds from that and the insurance proceeds. It should be enough to cover the $40,083.46. That's from Denoyer Chevrolet, was the lower of the OGS mini bids.
Did you say something about Bart's car?
No.
What happened to his car?
He got in a bad accident.
When was
When
this?
did
Is that
happen?
recent?
On his way home from the prior storm.
Not his
Oh my
fault at all.
God.
Yeah.
He's
Is he
he was
okay?
okay?
Somebody crossed the double yellow and hit him head on.
Oh my
Oh.
Yeah,
gosh.
he's okay.
Yeah.
But his car was not. Thank goodness he's alright.
Yeah, really.
Oh wow.
Is that a good moment to give a shout out to all our guys who've been driving plows for the past 70 or
Why-
90
I was gonna do that.
DPW crew.
Sorry, yeah.
I was gonna do it.
Perfect
Didn't
time.
wanna, just seemed like a good,
Steal my thunder.
No,
Our-
their
our-
thunder. It was
our
their thunder.
collective-
Their thunder.
Our collective thunder, yeah,
their
we
thunder.
are
Sorry.
definitely going to
Sorry to hear
do
about
that. I mean, yeah, that was
I don't remember
terrible
hearing
news,
about
yeah.
that.
you know.
So that was on going home from the last snowstorm?
Yep.
After working all those hours?
Yep.
Oh, poor Bart.
And then he
Oh my
got to go right to
gosh.
the hospital.
Man,
But
Finally
he
rest.
wasn't hurt.
He was not, fortunately.
But it's pretty shocking to have something, even if you're not hurt, I mean,
No, obviously.
It was a hard hit.
and maybe,
Head-on
who knows, I
collision.
mean, not hurt, maybe that doesn't mean not impacted at all, you
Yeah.
know, you can have pains and who knows, but I'm sorry that happened to him, it's really awful. Okay, so may I have a motion to adjourn the work session and open the town board meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are now at our town board meeting. Rob, do you have any announcements?
No announcements.
Okay. And for my supervisor's report, here we go. So, and we can all speak, of course. I just wanna thank Bart and the DPW guys for really back-to-back work on two humongous snowstorms. And these guys were working literally round the clock. Rob was talking to me about it today and saying that the guys, some of them had to be sent home just to get some sleep because they were literally working 24 hours. So I just wanna say how much we all appreciate their work, their dedication and, you know, just their grit. It's hard to do this. And I wanna also thank Eric for picking up pizza for the guys. Thank you for doing that. And and the residents a lot of residents have commented on their appreciation for their work and how good the roads are. And the roads are remarkably well maintained.
Yeah, I was very impressed driving around today at
Yeah.
how drivable and safe our roads were.
I think the sun kind of cooperated this storm, right,
Yeah.
in letting the
It did get a little
actual
warm.
It wasn't sub-zero this time.
Yeah, it was a little bit better, but I'm sure they're still doing the work, right? It's not done at all.
No, it's not done. So last night they ended up staggering shifts. They sent some folks home late evening to go home and sleep, and then they came back very early. Some guys actually stayed, and I think they plowed up until 11 o'clock last night and got some sleep here, and went right back out in the morning and continued. So I think they're all home on a hopefully full night's rest tonight.
Good.
We're expecting more tomorrow. The weather forecast we saw was 1 to 3 inches, so we'll see what that's gonna require of our public works guys, but
There's nowhere to put it though.
Nowhere to put it.
yeah, so they are working on scheduling a cleanup. Typically after a really big storm, they do a cleanup of downtown, which means they come in overnight and they take dump trucks and front loaders and try to clear all the snow from the sidewalks and in front of the stores. They were not able to do that on successive nights, so his plan right now is Friday, but that could change depending on what other snow we get.
And
Will
they
we be
remove-
closing have a delayed opening for town hall?
Not that I'm anticipating at this
Not
point
like
from what
this,
I've
okay.
seen. That might have to be a game time decision when we wake up in the morning. I kinda defer to Bart with what he's seeing down here. But I wasn't anticipating that.
Okay, alright.
Do they also work on like visibility around corners at intersections, like removing snow that has, and what do
They-
they do with that?
They do, and it's difficult, so we haven't had a year like this in quite a while that I can remember. So they have to remove it and take it somewhere. I was mentioning that a couple weeks ago with the storm that was here, and the parking lot, the train station lot, the parking was reduced there. They couldn't put the snow anywhere, so they were actually on a couple days removing it, and they were taking several dump trucks, and I watched them from my office just keep cycling through, and he said they take it to the DPW yard, but I think there's not gonna be much room there
Yeah.
anymore, so I know we are looking at temperatures in the 40s coming up over the next few
Good.
days, and hopefully that has some help.
And I notice it's staying lighter for
Yes.
longer, so that feels good too.
We change the clock soon.
I think the following weekend.
Okay, and on another note, I want to again reiterate our congratulations to Erin Frankel, the goalie for the US Women's Ice Hockey Team, who won the gold medal and made us proud. Erin grew up in this community, attended Chappaqua schools, and we're very proud of her. There was a very exciting watch party that took place last Thursday during the game live.
Chapac.
NBC News was there and other news outlets, and took place at Chapac. It was a very excited and exciting crowd, and people were cheering her on, and it was a very exciting time for everyone. And I wanna thank Michelle Gregson for setting up that watch party, and I know that some people are looking into inviting her to town and maybe having a little celebratory event. I'm not sure if that'll come through, I hope it does. But I just wanted to again reiterate our congratulations and just say how fun the watch party was. And also now on another note, many of you may have received a letter from me today and also from the school district to inform that there are going to be proceedings by members of Congress in the Chappaqua Crossing vicinity both Thursday and Friday of this week, which will bring an increased presence of media and security personnel and other possible disruptions to the area. We have been asked not to give details of these proceedings for security reasons, so I'm complying with that request. And just to let people know that our priority is the safety and security of our residents, our students and visitors who are here, and that our Newcastle Police have been working with all of the involved agencies. They're working very well together. I thank Rob and our school superintendent and all of the agencies and our chief of police, Jim Carroll. Again, our priority is safety of our residents. I just want to also say that we did request that these proceedings take place at a different venue. We didn't find out about it until it was too late to change, but I also want to thank our US Congressman Mike Lawler. He has, through arrangements with local municipalities and through Sergeant of Arms, memorandums of understandings with municipalities, has arranged for our costs to be reimbursed. So I wanna thank him for that, and he did try to help in moving the venue, but again, our information came too late to do so. So we did try, but we do appreciate that there are interests here, and it's important that we be respectful of the processes that need to take place. And we appreciate the patience and cooperation of all residents. And that's it. So now we are ready for your report, Rob, if any.
Yep, a couple items. Number one, it's about time for us to put out our notice for summer interns. I'm gonna have that in the administrator's report in your newsletter this week. This year, we're looking for interns in 4 different disciplines. The town clerk's office is looking for an intern. The engineering department's looking for one, the development department, and Department of Public Works. So that is it either 6 or 8 week program?
6 weeks.
It's a 6 week program. It is a paid internship. We typically take college students for this that are home for the summer break, and usually they have some either interest or qualifications in the particular position that they're looking for. So I'll have the details in the newsletter, but Lauren Cascone will be the point person. I will ask everyone to contact her, send their letters of interest and resumes. We typically get more applicants than we have positions. So we will conduct interviews and make our selections. And the last item, I want to just thank Chip Fowler. I think he's close to 30 years with the town. His final day is tomorrow. We're gonna miss Chip. I hope he gets one last snow plowing run in. But
I bet he does too. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we say goodbye to Chip. Chip was a valued member of our buildings and ground staff. He was our carpenter around town, and he really either built or redesigned most of the interior of this building. He did fantastic work on Walter's crew, and we're gonna miss Chip. So we say congratulations to him and best of luck.
Congratulations, Chip. Thank you for everything you've done, and best of luck with future plans.
That's all for me.
Okay. I think there is one item in the consent agenda that is not in the administrative items list,
two
and that's, yeah, so
Are you gonna
do you wanna,
public comment or?
yeah, one of the items that I think will be of note to people is that we are going to set a public hearing to extend the moratorium on battery energy storage systems and commercial solar arrays. The extension is not an indication of anything but our desire to keep the public hearing open for as long as we are getting comments and feedback from the community. The moratorium expires on March 30th, and we would only just be getting comments from the planning board on the 25th, is it? Or the 24th?
The 24th.
On the
Usually
24th.
Yeah.
And so to have the moratorium close out on the 30th is not giving sufficient time, so just wanna note that. And what else, Rob? What else did we not go over?
The other item that's not on the consent agenda was just the settlement agreement for the foil. We discussed that last time.
Right,
But
okay.
we didn't have a resolution for it.
Okay. Now, actually, I'm going to go to public comment. Okay, seeing no one in the audience today in person, are there any hands raised online for public comment?
No hands are raised
No hands are raised, okay, so we'll close public comment. And we've gone through the consent agenda. And so let's go ahead with the resolutions. Rob, unless there's something else of note,
No, those
No?
were the
Okay.
two things that weren't on the
we did
administrative
that.
items.
Okay, good. Okay, Eric, do you wanna start us off?
Yep. Too many papers.
You ready?
I move to adopt the items 1 through 14 as listed on the consent agenda. Read them through. Nope.
Second.
Great.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to retroactively approve the payment of claims in the amount of $266,897.44. That's the 2025 expenditures totaling $93,679.83, and the 2026 expenditures totaling $173,217.61, listed on the summary AP check register and detail voucher details report, all dated February 7th, 2026. Checks were printed and distributed to each claimant listed on Monday, February 9th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ally, go ahead.
I move to authorize the appointment of Kenneth Zadek as a member of the Recreation Commission for a 7-year term effective March 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2033.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to authorize the reappointment of John Garfunkel as a member of the Conservation Board for a 2-year term effective February 14th, 2026 through December 31st, 2028.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to authorize the promotion of Detective Sergeant Chris Ragney to the position of Lieutenant within the Newcastle Police Department at the annual salary of $168,836.02 effective February 25th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I move to authorize the promotion of Detective Anthony Charletti, thank you, to the position of Detective Sergeant within the Newcastle Police Department at the annual salary of $151,278.75 effective February 25th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I
On
move-
the next one, I just wanna change the hire date to
To the-
March 11th.
I move to authorize the hiring of Paul Franco for the position of Deputy Town Comptroller within the Comptroller's Department, the annual salary of $120,000 effective March 11th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to authorize the hiring of the following individuals for the position of PTA recreation attendants within the Recreation and Parks Department at the corresponding rates and dates as indicated below.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you
Get 'em
and
safe,
good night,
everyone.
everybody.
No more snow.